Well, I know Ambassador Jeffries, and I have a lot of respect for him. He has a ton of experience in the region. I agree with some of the points he made. I disagree with some of them. He said the MOU, the benefits to Iran don't flow unless Iran complies with the MOU and unless Iran agrees to restrictions on its nuclear program. That's actually not true. They are already getting sanctions relief, and they're already selling their oil around the world with no U.S. sanctions on them, which gives them access to lots of markets they did not have access to and is going to result in billions of dollars. There are reports that the U.S. is getting ready to unfreeze $6 billion of their frozen assets. This is even before they've agreed to any restrictions on the nuclear program. This MOU has been violated, broken, abused, and somehow it's still in place. And somehow both sides still say there's a ceasefire, even though there are exchanges of attacks over the weekend. Good luck to the negotiators. I hope they can work something out, but it doesn't seem like Iran wants to make concessions and compromises. So I'm not confident that Kushner and Witkoff are going to get the compromises that are necessary for there to be a long-term deal and for us to really restrain Iran's nuclear program in the future. And the big question is, at what point do these games that Iran is playing and do the skirmishes that Iran keeps initiating and the attacks on ships that are transiting the Strait of Hormuz cause President Trump to say, you know what, this MOU has been violated too many times. We need to go back to using leverage against Iran. We need to go back to reinstating sanctions. The waiver on Iran's ability to sell oil, the waiver of those sanctions, it is temporary and it can be rescinded at any point. So that gives President Trump a lot of leverage. President Trump could say, hey, we're not going to release any of these frozen funds to you. And then President Trump could say, we're going to renew airstrikes on your military facilities. But it doesn't seem like President Trump wants to do that. No matter what Iran does, he keeps going back to the negotiating table. And that's setting the tone for Iran, with Iran realizing they have a really long leash here.